Welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us. Today we are exploring how we can turn our ambition to tackle climate change into real results.
This is the critical fight for all of us.
Oceans are warming, storms are intensifying.
Young people are facing unprecedented levels of unemployment and worsening climate impacts.
As we have seen with the current pandemic, human and wildlife interaction needs to change.
The future of cities is being shaped by climate change. We are having to adopt, we're having to adapt, and we're having to mitigate.
So we're going to have to press hard the coming years for systemic changes in energy, in water management, land use, and agriculture.
Advances in technologies, batteries, solar, artificial intelligence, now make it possible to end energy poverty within the next decade. This will allow 1 billion people to be part of an inclusive and just recovery.
The quality of life will improve. Cleaner air, cleaner water, more people employed, greater energy independence, greater security between nations, and I think a huge kickstart to the post-COVID world.
Imagine a world where sustainably managed farms provide nourishing produce and are home to healthy animals. Where every village and town is powered by clean energy. Where clean, green cities have safe, affordable, and non-polluting transit systems. Thankfully, such a world isn't far away.
Climate change is a key priority and is critical for the World Bank Group to deliver on our goals to reduce poverty and boost shared prosperity. The bank will prioritize transitions in key systems. It will use its convening power to support a just transition out of coal, and the World Bank Group will become aligned with the principles and goals of the Paris Agreement.
Science is coming back at us stronger, harder, bigger, faster, and it's telling us that we are running out of time, which is what scientists say, not political people, not ideological, science. In fact, if we did everything we said we would do in Paris, the Earth's temperature is still going to rise to about 3.7 degrees or higher. There are some scientists saying we're in the 4.1, 4.5. Absolutely catastrophic and not worth the fight between the differential because it's all catastrophic. So what do? We go to Glasgow, which is the last best opportunity we have to get real and serious. And if we say this is an existential threat, we have to treat it like that, which means all nations, particularly the developed world nations, the 20 nations that are the equivalent of 81% of all the emissions on the planet, those nations must step up.
I think for a country, they really have to then deliver what they should deliver according to the agreement. Of course, as I said earlier, the NDC is a starting point, but as Secretary Kerry mentioned earlier, this is not going to be enough.
Hello everyone. It is an honor to be joining you today at the spring meetings to talk about the intrinsic link between nature and climate change. Protecting and restoring nature is critical to the success of COP26 in Glasgow later this year, and for the brighter, greener, more prosperous future that we all want to see. We cannot recover sustainably from coronavirus, eradicate global poverty, achieve net zero emissions, or adapt to climate change without investing in nature. The evidence is clear. Nature continues to decline at an alarming rate. And in the short term, it is the world's most vulnerable communities who are most affected. The decisions that leaders take in Glasgow will echo down the generations for years to come. So let's make it count.
We drastically made a change and we announced a long-term target of shifting 60% of our energy onto clean energy, which is renewable energy, which includes hydro, solar, and wind power by 2030. And in line with that commitment, we were not just talking, but we were also walking the talk. So we shelved 2 projects with 2,600 megawatts of imported coal, which were set to go towards financial closure. We shelved those projects, and we shifted and changed them to hydro projects, 3,700 megawatts of hydro projects.
What does the energy transition actually look like for developing countries? Knowing that developing countries still want to industrialize, they want to digitalize, they want to get their people out of extreme poverty. We have a year here that 150 million people have gone back into extreme poverty. So energy is that golden thread. We need to highlight that affordable, sustainable energy and cleaner energy is key. How do you make sure in the energy transition plans of these countries, you actually have the policies they need to put in place? And once they do put those policies in place, you actually look at the unique nature and the resources that are found in the countries and utilize that for the energy needs.
Some interventions that did make a difference in Egypt, such as the metro line, such as the reduction of the fuel subsidy that took place in 2017, and all that has contributed in a way or another for the air pollution.
And we wanted to focus on 3 main areas. The first one was how to create an integrated system of transportation that could improve the quality of life of most Costa Ricans that still relies on public transportation for their mobility. Second, how can we incorporate and how can we really also work on a multi-level with local governments to create non-motorized infrastructure to mobility? So cycling, walking. And the third main focus that we were working in terms of transport and mobility was obviously how to shift for fossil fuel fleet to a mostly electric fleet, but basically a clean fleet based on renewables.
Now, to discuss the future of food systems, I'm delighted to welcome the third and final panel.
With climate change, farmers don't know when it will rain. When it does rain, they don't know how long it will stay. It will wash away everything they have. I remember one situation when I was dealing with an insurance company and they told me, these farmers can't be repaid because they didn't do what they were supposed to do. And I said, what were they supposed to do? They were supposed to plant because it rained again after. So I said, after how many failures? 3. So after 3 failures, do farmers have seeds?
There is nothing inherent in healthy food that makes it more expensive than unhealthy food. Planet and health destroying food really is a no-go in 2021. It's totally unacceptable. People have a right to food and people have a right to be protected from harm.
So, this year's UN Climate Conference is expected to take place in Glasgow, Scotland in November 2021. We asked COP26 President Alok Sharma what would constitute a successful conference.
We know that green economies present enormous opportunities for growth and development, whether that's through cheap, clean energy, infrastructure resilience, or indeed job creation. And analysis demonstrates that renewables can create more jobs than fossil fuels. So we must act now to take these opportunities on and get the world on track to make the Paris Agreement a reality, creating a world that is clean and resilient, a world that is sustainable and prosperous. That is my aim as COP26 President.
The answers are not behind the numbers, but in front of them. To look a farmer in the eye and not see a victim, but a strong partner. To ask, what does a city look like when it's designed for all of its inhabitants, not just the most powerful? To demand a world of collaborators, away from the trappings of the helpers and the helped, the center and the margin. Young poets or otherwise, the definitions mark the way forward. Transformation, a thorough or dramatic change. Transition, the process of changing from one state to another. Translation, the process of thorough or dramatic change from one world to another.